Hey everyone, welcome back to Operation Variation. This is U.S. Pacific Command, turn number 8. Here's our tech. We're going to go for SDI with 2 dice, need a 10 or higher. Tech 11 is Advanced Sonar. We need an 8 or higher to complete that one. And then Tech 13, Advanced Manufacturing, need an 8 or higher to move to Stage 2. Alright, let's see what we get. Oh wow, nothing again, because you need 10s or higher here. Tech rolling, really bad in this game. Unit purchase, we are going to go heavy air because of an attack we're making this turn into Alaska. So we're expecting to lose quite a few air units this turn. So here we go. I'm going to buy an air cab. I'm going to throw an advisor on here because I may place him in Tokyo or Pacific Northwest, depending on what happens in Alaska. So throw that advisor on there to be safe. Not spending my battle stars, so an air cav for 4, 2 fighters for 12, a Top Gun air superiority fighter for 6, and an attack bomber for 6. All right, let's move to combat movement. Okay, we will do a walk-in into South Korea from Japan, 1-2 with the airborne. I've already made the adjustments up on the income tracker. That moved Pacific Command up to 26 and Far East Command down to, I think, 17. We're going to try Celestial Eagle with that air superiority fighter. That's it. And then up here, we are going to move the SSN back from P9 to P4, where he will fire 2 anti-ship missiles here into P9, trying to take out both of those destroyers. We are going to try to persuade the Canadians once again to join our cause, and then we have the massive invasion of Alaska. So let's see how this goes. So I've got a card here that I'm going to start moving stuff into. So first of all, 2 destroyers from P15 move up here and both fire 1 cruise missile each into Alaska. Okay, there's 2 cruise missiles. The cruiser will move up and he will do shore bombardment at a 2 or less. Can you see that? Yep. The amphibious assault ship will pick up the 2 Marines from Pacific Northwest. And he will move up with the air cav on deck. And then he will unload those into Alaska. Okay. All 4 of the carrier-based planes will come into the battle as well from the supercarrier. And I think that covers it for all of the naval forces. The Marine and the field artillery will walk in from Southeast Alaska. The 3 airborne will come in an airborne assault from Pacific Northwest, that major airbase. The air cav, actually 2 air cav from Pacific Northwest will come in. Trying to not get these all entangled with each other. The fighter from Pacific Northwest will come in. The attack bomber from Pacific Northwest will also come in. And I believe that, and we'll also have a SpySat there as well. And these chips just drive me crazy sometimes. They don't always interlock the best, depending on, sometimes you get different types of chips and they don't interlock and they just knock over really easy. All right, I think that is it. So let's do some of the smaller ones first, and we'll work our way up to the big one. First, can we persuade the Canadians to join the fight for freedom? So we're looking for a 10 or higher on either of these dice. No go. All right. How about this anti-ship missile strike here? No AMD. It's pretty simple. It's 2 dice at a 5 or less. And they both miss. Fantastic. What a great start to the turn this is. All right. No Canada. No destroyer kills. Then let's do Celestial Eagle. Here. So we're looking for a 6 or less to damage the Soviet SpySat. And that's an 8. All right, well, hopefully the U.S. got all of their bad dice rolling out of their system here. I'm going to move everything to the battle board. Okay, here we go. So, a lot of first strike. Tons of first strike. Tons of air superiority. Very unusual combat, actually. So, we will... the Soviet SAM is going to use AMD. So it's going to get 2 shots at 4 or less against the U.S. cruise missiles. And 1 gets shot down. Okay. Now, we're into regular first strike. I'll go ahead and roll the U.S. cruise missile at a 5. And it has target select, but it misses. Okay. Those 2 are gone. All right. Now, the U.S. has a cruiser, shore bombardment at a 2. That's a miss. And then it has a field artillery in mountains at a 1. That's a miss. Wow. Stellar rolling. Okay, so now the Soviets have 2 field artillery using Kim, and those will be at 3 or less. And the U.S. has no Kim whatsoever, so this could be disruption and or additional first strike hits. Nothing. Okay? Now, the Soviets also have 2 SP artillery using battlefield nukes, so they get triple dice. So, we will roll 6 dice at 3 or less first strike. And they all miss. Wow, this is stellar theater here. Thank you, dice. All right, well, that was really big for the Americans because this was a lot of firepower here for the Soviets, which all missed. So now we will get into regular combat. And we'll start at the top, and these are battlefield nuke units, though. Well, yeah, I'll just go ahead and use the battlefield nukes. Because even if we have to pull back from the combat, it'd be good to kill these before they retire. So here's 3 at 7 battlefield nukes for the Americans. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits. Wow. And no target selects. So yeah, the Soviets will immediately just take all 5 of those units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And I did move Fallout up from 2 to 3 as a result. So, now 3 air cav at a 4 or less. There's 1 hit. And then 3 airborne and 3 Marines at 2s because of the mountains. There's 1 more hit, so that's 2 general hits. Now, all running air superiority. We have 3 fighters for the U.S. and we have 1 air superiority fighter. The fighters in green will be 6s. The air superiority fighter will be in purple at a 5. 1 air superiority hit. And since I know that has to be an early gen fighter, we will just go ahead and move him down. Okay, those fighters rolled pretty bad. All right, let me clean up a little bit here and I'll be back to finish the battle. Okay, I wanted to move the cruiser back So now the Soviets have to take 2 more general hits, and they will take 2 more early gen fighters. Okay, so that'll clear those hits. Okay, now we will do the Soviets. First, we're going to roll the next gen MBT. That's a land target select hit. So we will land target select one of the Marines, which will die. Okay, those Marines already shot. Now the big one. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 early gen fighters. This is why I bought a lot of planes for the U.S. because if these roll well, the U.S. could lose a lot of planes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 at 3 or less. One, 2, 3 air superiority hits, which have to be taken on planes or air cav. And that's why I bought air cav. So we will take... do we want to risk it? Let me clear these first. So definitely going to take 2 air cav for 2 of the 3 air superiority hits. And do I want to take a fighter and leave an air cav would be the question. Air cav could come in useful. I've got another fighter to replace the one that I would lose. I also have another air cav. Let's be sure and take the air cav. All right, so now round 2. The 3 fighters will all come up here. The nukes are gone. The air superiority fighter will stay there. The field artillery retires. And the 6 early gen fighters come over there. So now we go to round 2. All right, so 2 attack bombers and 3 fighters for the Americans heading into round 2. 1, 2, 3 hits. And one of those is a land target select, but it's not a 1, so I can't target select the next gen. This is why I bought the next gen as the Soviets, to make it hard to kill. So that's just going to be 3 general hits. All right. Then we have 2 Marines and 3 airborne attacking at 2s. There's 1 more general hit. Then we have an air superiority fighter attacking at a 5. And that's a miss. All right, so 4 general hits. And the Soviets will take 1, 2, 3, 4 early gen fighters. All right. So let's roll those 4 early gen fighters. No longer air superiority, so any enemy casualty will do here. And that's 2 more hits. Okay, and then the next gen at a 6 or less for the Soviets. That's a miss. Ooh, okay. So 2 more hits. And the U.S. will take 2 of the airborne. All right. And we go on to round 3. So 2 U.S. attack bombers and 3 U.S. fighters. 1, 2, 3, 4 hits. That's it. That is battle over. America. All right. So we will roll the 2 early gen MBTs and the Soviet next gen. Final gasp here. See see how the Soviets how many units the Soviets can take with them. One hit. And I think the U.S. will take the airborne. And the U.S. has captured Alaska. Okay, the U.S. has recaptured Alaska. That's a battle star for the U.S. That's a loss of victory points and income for the Soviets as well. And so, in terms of land units, 2 Marines and the field artillery survived. So let's roll into non-combat movement. So the supercarrier will come up to here, along with the 2 frigates, and we're going to land. What are we going to land? We're definitely going to land the air superiority fighter back on the carrier. We are definitely going to land 2 of the fighters back on the carrier. Okay. And then the fighter that came from Pacific Northwest only has 2 moves left. I don't want to land him. I'm going to land him back here in British Columbia. I can do that even though the Canadians hate me, but I can still operate out of there since I have a defense treaty with them. So there he is. He landed back in British Columbia. And the 2 attack bombers will actually land, both will land back in Pacific Northwest. So we'll have 2 attack bombers there now in Pacific Northwest. Okay. And then this will, I'll put that there and I'll adjust the fleet cards later for that. Down here, let's see. The mech will sea lift from Sapporo into Tokyo. And then way down here, we'll have a few moves. So the 2 SSKs will come from P66 to 1, 2, 3, 4 into P45. The U.S. Airborne will sea lift 1, 2, 3 into Philippines. The strategic bomber will move from Philippines to Guam. Actually, no, I don't want to do that. I'm actually going to keep him here in Philippines. I don't think there's any real threat to him there. The U.S. light infantry that's in Taiwan will airlift to Okinawa. And the SPAG that's there will also sea lift into Okinawa. And I think that's about everything I can move as the U.S. So let's roll right into unit placement. And I'm going to put you up here and come back in a second. The Top Gun air superiority fighter will be built on the U.S. supercarrier. One of the 2 U.S. fighters will be built on the amphibious assault ship. And then we're going to shift you to Tokyo. Actually, shift you to Okinawa and Tokyo. So, actually, no. The fighter will be built at the Minor Air Base in Tokyo. With an advisor, Japan will build maybe its first ever attack bomber. Had to use an F-16 sculpt for this one. Need to get some Japanese F-111s painted up. And also with an advisor, actually, yeah, that's why I had to build in Okinawa. So the fighter will be built in Okinawa at the airbase there. The attack bomber here in Tokyo, along with an aircraft with an advisor in Tokyo as well. All right, so building up Tokyo pretty good there. Okay, collect income. So the U.S. will get a base of 26. They collected 1 battle star for recapturing Alaska. Okay, and then they will get global support. That's a 9. That is 4 more IPP. So the U.S. will head into next turn with a total of 25, 26, 30 IPP cash on hand. Take care, everyone.